Hello everyone, welcome back. So this is the another most important scenario based Power BI interview question that has been asked by the interviewer of Capgemini during the recruitment process of Power BI developer job role. Okay, so before moving into the question, let me show you the data set that I have already imported into this Power BI desktop environment, and that is called as the orders table. Okay, and if you want to see the data what exactly it contains, just click over here. This is the orders table, and inside this order table here you can see we have so many different columns are there, right? But to solve this particular scenario based problem, we have to focus on 2 3 columns. Like one is the order date. This is a column which contains the date on which the order has been placed. Okay, and next column is called as the sales column. Okay, so these are the two columns based on which we will see how to use the nested calculate DAX function in Power BI. Can we use one calculate DAX functions inside another calculate DAX function in Power BI or not? Okay, so the answer is yes, we can use one calculate DAX function inside another calculate DAX function in Power BI. Or we can say yes, we can use the nested calculate DAX function in Power BI. Okay, now first let me show you one example. So now here you can see in this example we have created one measure called as the nested, and to create this nested measure we have used the calculate DAX functions inside another calculate DAX function, right? Or we can say it as the nested calculate DAX function. Okay, because here we have used this calculate DAX functions inside this calculate DAX function, and we have used this one inside these two calculate DAX function. Okay, and this is called as the nested calculate. All right, now let me show you one example here and then we will see it in practically. Okay, so now here you can see one example, and in this example we have to calculate the total sales year to date on previous year. Okay, so to calculate this total sales year to date on previous year, we have to calculate three things. First one is the total sales, then second thing is we have to calculate the total sales year to date, and then we have to calculate the total sales year to date on previous year. Okay, so this is the combination of three calculations, correct? That's why first to calculate the total sales, here we have used, or here we have created one measure called as the total sales, and to find out the total sales we have used the DAX functions that is called as the sum, and inside this sum DAX function we have applied the line total column of the sales column. Okay, and at the end we will get the total sales value here. Okay, the next thing that we have to calculate is the sales year to date. So to calculate the sales year to date, we have to use the DAX functions that is called as the calculate first. Okay, and inside this calculate DAX function, we will pass the measure that is called as the total sales that we have created recently, right? And then we have to give the comma, then we have to apply another DAX functions that is dates year to date, and inside this parenthesis we have to pass the date column of the dates table. And here after doing this we will get the result as the total sales year to date value, correct? Then the next is to calculate the sales year to date previous year. What you have to do, again we have to use one calculate DAX function here, and inside this calculate DAX function we have to pass the sales year to date. It means the measure that we have created here, that is sales year to date, right? So we have to give the value of the sales year to date in the expression section, and then we, after giving the comma, we will give the filter value as the parallel period. This is also one DAX function, and inside this DAX functions we will pass the column name that is called as the date column of the dates table. Then here we will give -1 because we have to calculate the total sales year to date for the previous year. That's why here we will give the -1, and then here we will give the year value. So it will calculate the total sales year to date previous year value. So here it will give the result as total sales value year to date on the previous year. How we can get the previous year value? Because here we are doing -1 year. Okay, and then at the end we will get the total sales year to date previous year value. Okay, but here you can see to calculate this sales year to date previous year we have to create three different measures, right? So now instead of creating three individual measures to calculate the total sales years to previous year, what we can do, we can create only one measure, that is sales year to date previous year nested, equal to, we will use here nested calculate DAX function, and inside this nested calculate DAX function, what we can pass here, we can pass these calculations, that is some value of the line total column of the sales table. Here you can see we have used the same thing. Okay, then after giving the comma, here we have applied the same calculations that we have done here, that is dates year to date, and inside this DAX function we are passing the dates column of the dates table. Same thing here also we are doing, and at the end we are giving the third value, that is parallel period dates column of the dates table -1, and here we are giving the year value. And here also in this particular measure we have given the same calculations. Okay, by combining these three measures we can create only one measure, and inside this measure we can use the nested calculate DAX functions to find out the total sales year to date previous year nested. Okay, so in this way we can use the nested calculate DAX function. It means we can use one calculate DAX functions inside another calculate DAX function in Power BI. Alright, so now we will see it practically. Okay, now suppose our requirement is we have to calculate the total sales amount year to date that has been done on the previous year. Okay, so this is our requirement. Alright, so to get the answer, first of all we have to calculate the total sales. Okay, then we have to calculate the total sales amount year to date, and then only we can get the answer for this total sales amount year to date that has been done on the previous year. So now let's see step by step how we can get the answer for this total sales amount year to date that has been done on the previous year. So as I have already told you, first of all we have to calculate the total sales amount, right? So to do that, just right click on this particular order table, then click on new measure, then rename it as total sales amount. Okay, then equal to, and here we will pass the DAX functions, that is called as the sum DAX function. Okay, and inside this sum DAX function we will give the value as the sales value of the orders table. All right, then close the bracket and click enter. And now here you can see we have successfully created one measure called as the total sales underscore amount. Okay, and in this particular measure what we are doing, we are just doing the sum of the sales column of the order table. Okay, and now if I want to see what is the total sales amount that has been done till yet, so for that just click on this card visual, and inside this card visual we will pass this total sales underscore amount value in the field section. And now as you can see here, our total sales amount is 2.30 million. So we have successfully calculated the total sales amount here. Now our next requirement is we have to calculate the total sales amount year to date, right? So to do that, just again right click on this particular table, then click on new measure, then rename it as total sales underscore amount underscore year to date, then give the equal to symbol, and now we will use the DAX functions called as the calculate, and inside this calculate DAX function we will pass the expression part. So in place of expression what we will do, we will give the total sales underscore amount. Okay, this is the measure that we have created recently, right? So just click enter, then give the comma, then next is the filter section, and in place of filter section we will use another DAX functions that is called as the dates year to date, right? This is the DAX function that is called as the dates year to date. Okay, and these DAX functions take two arguments, that is dates and year ended date, or you can give only the date only. Okay, and it returns a set of dates in the year up to the current date. All right, so now here we will pass the value, or we can pass the dates column as the order date of the orders table, right? So this is the order date column of the order table. So just click enter, then close the bracket. All right, and again close the bracket to close the parenthesis of the calculate DAX function. All right, and this will give the result as the total sales amount that has been done till yet. It means it will give the total sales amount that has been done from the starting date of the year to till date. Okay, then click enter, and here you can see this is the total sales underscore amount underscore year to date measure. So now again click on this card visual, and inside this card visual we will pass the measure that we have created recently, that is total sales amount underscore year to date in the field section. Okay, and this is the value. So just click on this particular visual, then go to this format section, and here in place of collide value, here just make it to none so that we can see the exact value. All right. And now our next and the last requirement is we have to calculate the total sales amount year to date that has been done in the previous year. Okay, so how can you do that? For that, again right click on this particular orders table, then click on this new measure and rename it as the total sales underscore amount underscore year to date underscore previous year. Okay, then give the equal to symbol, and here we will use the DAX functions, that is called as the calculate DAX function, and in this calculate DAX functions we will pass the expression as the total sales underscore amount underscore year to date measure that has been created recently. Okay, then give the comma, and here again we will use another DAX function that is called as the parallel period. Okay, this is one DAX function called as the parallel period, and it will return a parallel period of dates by the given set of dates and specified interval. All right, and it will take the argument as the dates, number of intervals, and the interval. All right, so in place of date, what we will give the order date. Okay, order date column of the orders table, here it is, then give the comma, then in place of number of interval, what we will give, we have to calculate the total sales amount year to date on the previous year, right? So we will do -1 of the year column. All right, then close the bracket, and again close the bracket, then click enter. So now to get the answer, what we have to do, again we will click on this card visual, and inside this card visual we will pass the new measure that we have created recently, that is total sales amount year to date on the previous year. So just drag it and drop it in this field section. Okay, then click here, then expand this colas value, then here in place of auto just change it to none. All right, so this is the value for the total sales underscore amount underscore year to date that has been done on the previous year. So as you can see here, to calculate the total sales underscore amount underscore year to date underscore previous year, we have to calculate these two individual measure as well, correct? Now let's check whether this value are coming correctly or not, but before that just click on this particular visual, then go to this format section, and here change it to none. Okay, so that we can get the exact value. And the next step is, here we will create one slicer visual, and inside this slicer visual we will pass the year column that has been done on the orders date. Okay, this is the order date and the data type is the date. So here we can see one particular value called as the year, so just drag it and put it in the field section and click here, then go to the slicer setting, and here in place of drop down just make it to vertical list. Okay, all right. So in the first visual, as you can see here, this is the total sales amount, and this value is coming correctly because here we are doing the sum of the sales column of the orders table, correct? So this value is coming correctly. Okay, so next is, here we can see this is the total sales amount year to date. It means, so suppose current year is 2019. Okay, so out of this current year I have to find out the total sales amount year to date, correct? So if I will click on this 2019 button, at that time whatever value we can see here, same value will also be appear on this particular total sales amount visual. All right, so let's see whether it is showing the same or not. If it is showing the same value, then we can clear that the value that is coming over here is the correct one. All right, so just click on this particular 2019 button. Okay, and here you can see whatever value is coming on this total sales amount year to date, the same value is showing on this particular total sales amount visual as well. Okay, so by comparing these two particular visual, we can get clarification that the value that is showing over here, that is total sales amount underscore year to date, is the correct one. Then the next is the total sales amount year to date that has been done on the previous year. Previous year means, suppose this is the current year is 2019, so our previous year is 2018, correct? So in this particular visual, we will apply the filter as 2018. Okay, so after applying the filter on this particular visual as 2018, if the value of this particular visual is same as this particular visual, then we can get clarification that the value that is coming here on this particular total sales amount underscore year to date previous year value is the correct one. Okay, so let's see. So just click on this particular visual, then click on this filter sections, then drag the year column and drop it over here. Okay, and here just change it to the basic filtering, and next here we have to select as 2018. Okay, and you can see in this particular visual the value is coming as 6,09,205.60, and here also we are getting the same value. Okay, so from this we are concluding that whatever value that we are able to see on these three particular visual sections are showing the correct result. All right, so I am removing this filter. So now, as you can see here, to find out this total sales amount year to date for the previous year, we have to first of all calculate these two measures, that is total sales amount and the total sales amount year to date measure, right? So instead of creating this type of different individual measures to get the solution, what we can do, we can create only one measure, and inside these measures we can use multiple calculate DAX functions. It means we can use the nested calculate DAX functions to get the solution very easily. Okay, so let's see how we can implement or how we can use nested calculate DAX functions to get the total sales amount year to date for the previous year, and that is only on one particular measure. All right, so for that, again right click on this particular table, then click on new measure, then rename it as total sales amount year to date previous year nested. Alright, then click shift plus enter, and here we will paste the code to save your time. Okay, so now let me explain here what I have written on this particular code. Okay, as you can see here in this particular measure, I have used the nested calculate DAX function. It means I have used one particular DAX functions inside the another calculate DAX function. Okay, this is called as the nested calculate DAX function. All right, and always remember, during the nested functions, the executions part will always start from the inner side and it will slowly move to the outer part. Alright, it means here you can see this is the first calculate DAX functions, this is the second one, and this is the third one, right? So the execution will start from this part. This is the inner part, correct? And after that it will move to this part, and then it will move to this calculate DAX part. Okay, and at the end we will get the result. So as I have already told you, the execution will start from here. So what exactly we are doing over here in this particular statement, we are doing the sum of the sales column of orders table, and we are getting the total sales value. Got it? Then for this particular calculate DAX functions, now this part is the expression part, okay, and this is the filter part. All right, so in place of expression part we got the total sales value. Then next is filter. So in place of this filter part, what we are doing, we have used the DAX functions, that is dates year to date, and inside the parenthesis we have given the order date of the order table. So it will calculate the total sales amount year to date, okay, that we have done previously in this particular card visual. Then next is this one. Okay, so for this calculate DAX functions, this entire thing will be the expression part, and this particular thing is the filter part. All right, and this part will give you the result as total sales amount year to date, and this part will give the filter sections for the total sales amount year to date for the previous year. Okay, so let me tell you what exactly we are doing over here. Previously, to calculate the total sales amount year to date of previous year, what we are doing, we are creating two different measures, that is total sales amount and total sales amount year to date. Okay, and then only we are able to get this particular result, that is sales amount year to date for the previous year. Correct? But now to get the result, instead of creating two different individual measures, what we are doing, we are creating only one measure, and inside this particular measure we are using the nested calculate DAX function. And in this nested calculate DAX function, what we are doing, we are just merging, or we are just combining these three different calculations inside this particular measure. Okay, here you can see this is the sum of the sales column of the orders table. Here also we are doing the same thing, and here we are using the dates year to date DAX function on the order date of the order table. Okay, here also we are doing the same thing, and after giving the comma, and in the third part we are using the DAX functions, that is parallel period, and we are providing the argument as the order date column of the order table. Then we are doing the -1 year. Okay, and we are doing the same thing in this particular measure as well. Alright, so instead of creating three different individual measures, we are combining those three measures in one particular measure, and we are getting the result. Alright, so in this way we can use the nested calculate DAX functions in Power BI. Okay, so by writing this formula, we can easily calculate the total sales amount year to date previous year nested measure. Alright, then click enter. Okay, and now here you can see we have successfully created another measure, that is called as the total sales amount year to date previous year nested measure. Okay, so for that just click on this card visual, and inside this card visual we will pass this particular measure that we have created recently. Alright, and this is the value for the total sales amount year to date previous year nested, right? So just click here and click on this, and then here change it to none. And now here you can see whatever value that we are able to see on this particular card visual, same value is appearing over here. Okay, so in this way we can implement the nested calculate DAX functions. It means we can implement calculate DAX functions inside another calculate DAX functions to calculate the total sales amount year to date previous year nested measure. Alright, so I hope from this video you have got the better idea about how we can use the calculate DAX functions inside another calculate DAX function in Power BI. Alright.